Hello everyone, Beefaroni here, back again with another chapter in the Lost Ark Beginner series. This time, we will take a look at the boss mechanics for the Necromancer's Cliff dungeon. Please keep in mind that the name of this dungeon may change when the game comes west. This video, like the Abode of Death video, are from the perspective of a support paladin. As a paladin, you can provide heals, shields, offensive and defensive damage buffs, which will greatly increase the chance of your success. Necromancer's Cliff is the second dungeon that you can enter in Lost Ark and requires a gear score of 340 to enter. Similar to the Abode of Death, the dungeons here are linear. While this video starts right at the first boss, there are minion enemies that you will need to clear on your way. As always, try your best not to take any damage. The first attack we will see is a slam. A telegraph circle will appear where the boss will attack. After that, the area becomes a safe zone. You will want to rush into that space to avoid the subsequent attack. This attack does moderate damage. Whenever you see two cone-shaped projections, remember that the boss will chain this attack together 3 times in a row. The positioning of the cones can change for each cast. Just stay on your guard and make sure you're able to get into the safe zone before attacking the boss. The main mechanic for this fight that will cause a group wipe revolves around the flame debuff you see over your health bar and the golden orbs that are spawned. Every 15 seconds or so, the boss will add another debuff, increasing the orb count over your head. If at any point someone in the group gets to 5 stacks of the debuff, it will wipe the entire group. Communicating with your group is key here. On the player HP bars, everybody has a number. You can use these numbers to indicate whose turn it is to use the golden orb and wipe all of your debuff stacks. It's important to take your orbs in order, otherwise you can reach 5 stacks and wipe. I took the lead here and called out the numbers for each person to take their turn. The next attack is the triple claw attack, 3 quick attacks directly in front of the boss that do moderate damage. You will want to try to stand next to or behind the boss while he does this and continue to pump your damage. A quick tail swipe will be followed by a cone-shaped projection. Shift to the side of the boss to avoid taking some moderate damage. Note that I called out the number 2 here, so that the second person can go and get their golden orb. Do not forget about this wipe mechanic. This donut-shaped projection is an easy attack to avoid. Stay in the safe zone and then rush back in to continue DPSing. Here the boss does a quick charge attack, followed by his shout, which indicates that another debuff stack has been placed on the group. You can see that I call for group member number 3 to get their golden orb. From here, just focus on the wipe mechanic and the boss's regular attacks and fight your way to victory. Following the path, you will encounter more minion enemies. As always, kill them without taking damage and continue on to the boss. Here we will see 2 separate attacks performed in quick succession. The large slam attack is aimed at a player and will do AoE damage if anyone is in the red projection. Next, we will see a large cone-shaped attack. Both of these attacks are very easy to avoid. This donut-shaped attack has 2 safe zones. You can dash close to the boss and continue to do damage, or take your time and back away like I did. This orb attack is quickly followed up by a second orb attack. You can safely dodge the second set of orbs by standing where an orb from the first attack passed. If the first set of orbs is a plus shape, the second set will be an X shape. For this next attack, the boss teleported off my screen and I lost track of him. You can learn from my mistake here. You want to hunt down the boss and quickly try to do enough damage to stun him. If you fail to stun him, he will do a high AoE damage attack that will hurt everyone in your group. Luckily, we were all very high on health, or this could have wiped the run. I was a little out of position here, so we don't get a good view of this meteor attack. However, the boss is going to slam the ground and 4 meteors will drop into red projections. One of these meteors will splinter and shoot 8 projectiles around it. These meteors do minor damage. The main mechanic for this fight is fairly simple. The boss will do a colored shockwave when his health gets very low. It will either be red or it will be black. You will need to coordinate with your group, something I forgot to record for this video, so that each member of your group picks a direction, top, bottom, left, or right. You will need to grab the corresponding orb that matches the color of the shockwave. Here, it is clearly a red shockwave, so I will run and collect the red orb in the direction I designated before the boss fight. It's very important that you coordinate this with your group, because if you pick the wrong color, the boss will regain additional health stacks and you will have to do this mechanic more times. If everyone picks the correct color, you should be able to do this mechanic twice to finish the fight. If someone fails to pick the correct color or does not get there in time, it can take 4 tries at the mechanic to beat the boss. After the boss does the shockwave mechanic, his attacks will become empowered and be modified. This grants the attack extra damage, and using the orbs as an example, he will shoot 4 orbs, and then the follow-up orb attack will contain 6 orbs. Just do your best to avoid the boss's attacks, working your way to the second shockwave. Here we can see that the second shockwave is gray, so we will go to the direction we were assigned and collect the gray orb, and then continue with the fight. To recap, the regular attacks of the bosses here aren't as crucial as making sure that you perform the mechanic properly. Failure to execute the mechanics will either wipe you outright or extend the duration of the boss battle in the case of the second boss. The longer that fight goes on, the more opportunity the boss has to kill you. Make sure you're coordinating with your team to get your golden orb rotation down for the first boss, and you're positioning for the shockwave mechanic of the second boss. Communication is going to be your key to victory here. Unlike other games, Lost Ark is not just about a DPS race. You want to make sure that you're doing your best to avoid taking damage and play safe so that you're not a liability to your group. In the case of the second boss, if somebody dies early, they're unable to collect their orb, and that will just extend the duration of the battle. This applies to guardians, dungeons, and raids. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or have a video idea that you would like to see made, you can drop it in the comments or swing by the Twitch stream. Link in the description below.